Hello everyone, welcome to the news update for Friday, September 21st, 2018. We have a lot to get into, a lot of transportation issues. We have a crime story to talk about, unfortunately, here in Queens. And an interesting fight Assemblywoman Nicole Malliotakis is trying to do for her constituents in Brooklyn regarding the closure of Rikers Island. And I'm quickly going to mention former WABC TV reporter. There was a fundraiser in honor of her last night, and I will quickly mention that in this news update. And if you are asking, you are looking at the tabs, we're not talking about Trump. Alright, I don't want to talk about the Trump-Kavanaugh thing, because there's too many videos here on YouTube talking about it, and you want to look it up yourself. CNN's YouTube page is probably cluttered with all sorts of Kavanaugh Trump nonsense, but this is local news from the New York area, so if you're not interested, you can just click away. I don't mind, but if you want local news, you're only getting it from me. Alright, so let's go to our first story for today, as we have this issue that happened at Atlantic Avenue Barclays Center subway station this morning. This was exclusively broken to me by Matt Camper from the Twitter handle @SarahIsSorry. And she shouldn't be sorry, because she did the right thing today reporting this to me, Matt, and Jason Anthony Pinheiro. So as you're seeing here, I'm going to play the video on mute. This is a ceiling collapse, once again, at Atlantic Avenue and Barclays Center subway station. And from what I'm making out, this looks like this could be either the 2, 3, 4, or 5 train. As I can tell, that looks like the number trains. I can't tell from that angle, but it looks like it could be the 2 or the 3 train. We're going to talk about a lot of transportation issues going on in Brooklyn. I got this article from New York One, so I'm going to read it now. And unfortunately, guess who had a press conference about this yesterday? That's right, Polly Trottenberg, the commissioner of the New York City Department of Transportation. Let's read this. Brooklyn Heights Promenade could close for at least 6 years under one of the plans being floated by New York City as it considers a major renovation project for the BQE. The proposal would involve a temporary roadway built over the promenade. The project addresses the stretch between Atlantic Avenue and Sand Street. 2 scenarios are under construction for the project. One would involve an elevated temporary roadway, which would mean closing the Brooklyn Heights Promenade for 6 years. A second involves lane-by-lane closures during nights and weekends, which would impact traffic in the surrounding area. Some residents aren't taking well to the plans. One resident said, "Don't shut down the promenade. It's just so gorgeous. It's beautiful. So many people run on it. So many people are there every single day," one resident said. Whichever way it's going to bring, less traffic, another suggested. A DOT official said putting the update off any longer is not an option. The program will be scheduled to begin in 2020 or 2021. Oh, I'm going to go off topic here and quickly rant about Trottenberg again. Alright, it's bad enough she got press time yesterday. She was on NBC News 4, because yes, I was watching the Jet Brown game, and as a Ravens fan, I'm upset they won, but I'm not going to talk about that now. What I am going to talk about is, again, a major transportation issue here in Fresh Meadows. So if you're not familiar with the eastbound stretch of 73rd Avenue by Rite Aid, I will go into it. Everybody knows about that stupid, annoying bike lane that shouldn't even be there in the first place. And this is what I don't understand here. The traffic is getting worse. It's bad enough we have that traffic light on 185th Street that's making people block 184th Street in that intersection. And I understand the people are they shouldn't be blocking the box in the first place. I get all that. But the issue is, and I'm going to go into this now. Okay, sure, the 184th Street, 185th Street controversy has been going on now for the past 2 years. We're not going to get into that. What I do want to get into is, again, you need a left turn only lane which would be the middle lane, right where the double yellow line would be, and then get rid of the bike lane, get rid of the side parking, and make that a right turn only straight lane. That's how you can fix the traffic. It would be 2 lanes at least, but at least traffic would move. No, I'm Patty Trappenberg. I always want to screw Queens. That's why we have that traffic light on 233rd Street that we just put up. And remember, that light on 185th Street's been there for years because Bloomberg's DOT commissioner put that up because somebody complained that they got ran over there. But, another story for another time. And again, I talked to DOT about people blocking 184th Street, and during rush hour, they don't want to do anything about it. So, I figured I'm only bringing it up because that's an idea I would do to at least alleviate some of the congestion between 184th Street and 185th Street where the traffic light is on 73rd Avenue. And again, I'm sorry for going off topic, but, Trottenberg really gets to me. So we got this situation this morning in Brooklyn as an Orion 7 OG smashed into a building on the B45 route. So we will read this article right now. An MTA bus slammed into a building in Brooklyn earlier this morning, leaving the driver injured. It happened around 10:15 this morning at Ralph and St. Mark's Avenue. Thankfully, there was no customers on board on this Orion 7 Old Gen B45 bus, and authorities said the driver was making a right turn when he lost control and smashed into the building. He suffered trauma and was rushed to Kings County Hospital. No other injuries were reported. The cause of the crash is under investigation, and inspectors from the Department of Buildings also responded to check the integrity of the building. So once again, this definitely looks like an Orion 7. Now the only issue is maybe this looks like a next gen. I'm not too sure at the moment. Let's just see it again, because I'm thinking this could possibly be a next gen. I don't know, because from the back I'm assuming it looked like an old gen, but let me guys what think. I know this is an Orion 7, but let me know what it looks like, because I'm probably going to leave this picture as the thumbnail for everybody, so that way you all can get an idea if you click out of it for a second and want to give me your opinions on what type of Orion 7 this could be, because I'm assuming this is going to be ruled as a next gen in the report, but we'll have to talk about that. Also, we're going to talk about a story in Brooklyn as well involving transportation. This story was first reported by NJ Burkett on Twitter. It was a wild scene in Brooklyn after police say a thief stole a commercial van and recklessly drove down a narrow street. Police say he damaged several vehicles in the area of Skillman Street and Myrtle Avenue yesterday afternoon. The stolen van belonged to a grass repair shop. Police say the van was idling when the suspect jumped in. Police arrested the suspect a few blocks away. So, I'm going to try to find that video right now from NJ Burkett. So, I'm going to try to play it right now. It's not playing at the moment, folks. There we go. So, this is what happened yesterday in Brooklyn, if you are curious. So, that vehicle, I can't tell what it looks like from this angle, but the van had its flashers on. And that box truck may have gotten sideswiped. So, very scary to see this, of course. And that is, of course, the suspect being taken away. And once again, thank you, NJ Burkett, for reporting this story to everybody. We would have all not found out about this if it wasn't for you and you and your photographer being over there. But man, look at these images. That minivan got sideswiped. That is just very scary to even see. Wow. Our last issue in Brooklyn pretty much took place on the BQE this morning. As you're seeing here, this was an overturned tri-ice truck, and inside, of course, was dry ice. And from what this looks like from Pix11's chopper, from what they reported earlier this morning, wow, look at all that traffic backed up on the BQE this morning. It's always bad dealing with this stupid overhead bridge, but this is just insane. This is just crazy. So we'll read the article. So what happened was, a tractor trailer carrying dry ice overturned on the BQE, temporarily blocking all eastbound lanes and causing delays in both directions during the Friday morning rush hour commute. This incident involved an 18-wheeler truck that happened near the Hamilton Avenue exit. When the tractor trailer was overturned, it blocked eastbound lanes, causing traffic to be backed up for miles. The truck, embezzled with the words Dry Ice Corp, and as you saw in the video, was removed by 8:30 earlier this morning, but dry ice remained on the roadway. One lane did reopen, and I think this is a Facebook video. I'll try to play it. And we have that on mute, so we'll try to fast forward. Yeah, here we go. Here's another view of the dry ice truck, and wow, very scary. So this was probably after they got the truck off the road, and they were able to reopen the right lane on the eastbound side of the BQE by Hamilton Avenue. And look at all the odor. It looks like an odor coming out of the truck. They were able to get the cargo out. And once again, this truck was pretty much flipped over. I'm assuming the truck was trying to veer right, and all of a sudden the trailer probably jackknifed. And it's just awful to see this. It really is. And this was, of course, from their Facebook page. Let's go to our next article. We're going to talk about an awful incident that happened in Queens earlier today. Let me just move my computer because I'm trying to also watch the weather forecast for tomorrow because I have plans. So, if you didn't hear what happened this morning, we had an incident in Flushing. Awful incident that happened in Flushing earlier this morning as 3 children, they were only infants, 2 adults were stabbed by a 52-year-old female daycare worker in Flushing. She stabbed, once again, 3 newborn babies and 2 adults early this morning on 161st Street in Flushing. This attack happened around 4 a.m. earlier this morning. Juanita Holmes, the assistant chief for the New York Police Department, said 3 of the injured were infants ranging from the age of 3 days to 1 month old. 1 adult female suffered multiple stab wounds to the torso, and 1 adult male suffered an injury to the leg. The woman stabbed worked at the daycare, and the man stabbed is father of 1 of the infants. Police sources say a bloody kitchen knife and a meat cleaver were recovered from the scene. I'm so sad for the families for this happened to. Those poor children. I'm not going to read the quote. All of the victims taken to local hospital in critical conditions. The suspect is also in critical but stable condition at this hour as of 12:20 p.m. This afternoon. And I'm just watching the forecast for tomorrow on the TV. Just a quick second, because again I have plans tomorrow, and I hope it doesn't rain. And it's going to be cloudy, but I'll definitely be able to get my plans in tomorrow, so that's good. And I still want to know the forecast for Tuesday for the one day only video at Hicksville. We're going to go now into this story that happened in Astoria. Before I go into that, 60% chance of rain on Tuesday. Now, I'll quickly go off topic and mention one day only. I did see a couple videos of what happens when it does rain in Hicksville, and I'm kind of hoping it does rain, because I want to see those drain pipes in action. So if it rains for a weird reason, I'll get it on tape. Because I want to see what happens. I am very curious to see what happens in Hicksville. So one day only, I'm filming it on Tuesday. And quick spoiler alert, going off topic, I do have a trailer for it. And it'll probably be up on Monday. But anyhow, back to the news. 2 dead, off-duty Yonkers officer wounded in Queens shooting that took place in Astoria. This story was reported by longtime WABC TV reporter Jim Dolan. So thank you, Jim, for reporting the story to me and everybody else, but I will read what the article said. 2 people are dead and an off-duty Yonkers police officer is wounded following a shooting inside a home of the Astoria section of Queens earlier this morning. The shots were reported inside the home on 77th Street just before 7 a.m. Dermot Shea, the chief of detectives for the New York Police Department, said, "What we do believe standing here is 3 individuals. You have 2 of them romantically involved, 1 possibly an ex-boyfriend, and 1 is a current boyfriend." So this is crazy. Police cautiously approached the house and found the 43-year-old off-duty Yonkers officer shot in the shoulder and with possible stab wounds to the back. Inside the home, police found a 47-year-old man and a 31-year-old woman, both shot in the head. The man was holding a semi-automatic weapon. Police say the woman called 911 and officers heard 10 shots as they approached the house. The off-duty officer was not in possession of a service weapon. He was taken to Elmhurst Hospital for treatment of serious injuries. Dermot Shea also said, "Beginning this week, back on Monday, September 17th, we had several calls to this general vicinity. We had an incident involving a car being keyed, and it involved the 3 individuals that I just spoke about." Detectives believe the 47-year-old man is the victim's ex-boyfriend and the off-duty officer was her current boyfriend. Okay, so trying to make this out here. So the current boyfriend apparently is in the hospital, who again was the off-duty Yonkers police officer. So I'm sure the NYPD is talking to the police department up in Yonkers about this situation, but awful incident, and I'm very scared for Astoria. Astoria is really going through a rough patch right now in terms of crime, and I'm not going to get into how bad it's gotten in Astoria in general this past year, but I hope things start to improve in Astoria, because we have more incidents like this. People are going to be driven away from a nice town, and historically Astoria is a nice area, and I like visiting, don't get me wrong, but I just don't want to see anything like this happening in a nice area like Astoria, is what I'm trying to say. Now, we're going to talk about an issue that was brought up to me by Assemblywoman from Staten Island and Western Brooklyn, Nicole Malliotakis. Now, if you don't remember who she was the 2017 New York City mayoral candidate who ran on the Republicans. And at this moment, I can confirm to you all that she is reconsidering. It's not going to happen, but she's reconsidering running for mayor in 2021. And again, I hope she does run, because I think she's ready to be mayor right now, for all we know. I think the way she, again, very vocal, gives inspirational speeches, I think she's ready to be the mayor. But she brought this up to me and all her followers, and I'll read you the story I got, because this involves, you guessed it, Rikers Island. Brooklyn pushes back against Mayor de Blasio's jail plan. Pretty much Mayor DeBozo, as I like to call him, is facing a jail uprising in Brooklyn. Community leaders, business owners, and residents they came out in force last night for a public hearing on towering a new jail slated to raise along Atlantic Avenue in the heart of the borough's downtown. It's one of 4 proposed new lockups in Mayor de Blasio's plan to close scandal-scattered Rikers Island. Guess what they want to reopen in Queens? That's right. They want to reopen the Kew Gardens Queens Detentional Center. They want to reopen this building. Are they crazy? This is right by the courthouse. They can't reopen this building. You can't make this stuff up. You just can't. Alright, opponents say they support shuttering Rikers while reducing the size of the city's jail population, replacing the existing Brooklyn House of Detention in Burham Hill with a new 430-foot high jail. More than double its size would create gridlock, parking problems, and air pollution. Exactly. They shouldn't be reopening this. They shouldn't be. And then they include to close Rikers by 2027. Pretty much now, that's almost 8 years away from now. 8 whole years. And this is in downtown Brooklyn. Look at this. 275 Atlantic Avenue. I know where that is. That's right by Atlantic Terminal. They can't reopen this. It'll pretty much drive people away from either working in the area or going to Atlantic Terminal Mall. Again, this is ridiculous. And as I said, I'm very worried they're going to reopen the detention center on Queens Boulevard. I hope they don't reopen it. Alright, 3 more will follow in Manhattan, Queens, and the Bronx. And if they are planning a hearing in Queens, and if it's in a location I can get to at night, I'm going to have to ask my dad if I can go to this, because I do not want that area being a nightmare if they reopen the detention center. And thankfully, when they filmed Orange is the New Black, that show on Netflix, I have a couple friends who love that show. I told them that they want to reopen it because de Blasio is talking about getting rid of Rikers. And they have mixed viewpoints on it, but the one reason why, and I'm going to say this to everybody on the record right now, and I may have mentioned it to some people away from YouTube, that I support the corrections officers. That's why I don't want Rikers to close, because Rikers is where they work and where they deal with the inmates. I don't want to see the corrections officers pretty much go through a stressful time of them getting dispatched in other detentional centers, and then they have to pretty much worry about the inmates being in these different buildings. Rikers Island is supposed to shutter these people away from the world, and these are dangerous criminals, and this is what Nicole Malliotakis has brought up. They don't belong in our communities, and hopefully she will be speaking up for us. Hopefully, if Vicky Palladino wins her election in State Senate District Number 11, she will hopefully do the right thing and, you know, pretty much stand up, because this is a statewide issue. So we need state senators to get involved in this. Hopefully, this has to be taken to the statewide level. It should be. So de Bozo needs to lose this battle. He cannot close Rikers Island. We cannot afford to lose Rikers Island. There was a fundraiser at Chelsea Piers last night in honor of former WABC TV reporter Lisa Colagrassi. Pretty much, there is a foundation in honor of her. The Brain Aneurysm Foundation aims to save lives by increasing awareness and research. And sadly, if you don't remember, Mrs. Calagrassi passed away 3 years ago when she was only 49. And I know that her family to this day, her former husband and her children, they're still young, but they are vocal supporters of her own foundation, and they do a lot. And this is definitely a charity I would donate to, because this is somebody who I grew up watching on Channel 7 for many years, and I just wanted to bring this up because Bill Ritter and Sandra Bookman hosted this fundraiser last night, and quite fitting that the 6 o'clock and 11 o'clock reporter on Channel 7 would do this. And Sandra Bookman, who I have a lot of respect for on Channel 7, she does street reports and she does the weekend news with Joe Torres. Pretty much, this was very important to do. And, Lisa will always be remembered. We will never forget her. And I just wanted to quickly bring this up. I'm not going to get into it that much. Before I leave, if I can find an article about the 495 thing, I will right now, because we have a situation on 495 lane shift. It's actually starting tonight. Yeah, here we go. I got it right here. This is from the DOT. Here's a press release. I just pulled it up because Channel 7 was Ooh, I might as well bring up one last thing as well, because we're going to talk about the street closers. Gridlock alert days. NYC. I will bring this up because it's very important to bring this up as well before we wrap it up. Okay, so before we wrap this all up, 2 last transportation stories. New Jersey DOT officials yesterday announced overnight lane closures to set up a traffic shift on Route 495 eastbound to the Lincoln Tunnel as the next phase of the work to rehabilitate the Route 495 bridge over Route 109 and Patterson Plank Road in North Bergen begins. So I'm not really going to get into it that much, but they are doing this tonight. And if you are in this area, I'm going to leave this press release in the description below so you can read this information for yourself. But this is more important. I need to get into, folks. It's way more important. So next week is the UN General Assembly meeting. The DOT back on, I believe it was Tuesday. Right, it was Tuesday, because that's when I was listening to 1010 Wins about this. The New York City Department of Transportation has identified 16 days during the UN General Assembly and throughout the holiday season when heavy traffic is expected in Manhattan. On these gridlock alert days, you should consider walking, biking, or taking mass transit for any trips into Manhattan. Okay, so look at all this. Starting on Monday and going all the way until next week, and even until next Monday, October 1st, there is going to be 6 gridlock alert days coming up. And my last point before I wrap up this video, I heard a rumor that President Trump is expected to be at his tower on 57th Street by 5th and Madison, where Tiffany's is. Just be prepared between 6th Avenue on 57th by 5th and Madison. They may close off that area and a few other side streets. So, once again, I'm just going to tell you right now, if you don't have to be in Manhattan, don't go to Manhattan. Please, if you're not doing anything for work or anything, just don't go into Manhattan during this. Maybe during the holiday season it's different because the tourists are around and they want to, look at all the sights, which again, I'm looking forward to doing that. And I'm going to have to make sure that during the holidays I go into the city on Tuesdays, because I'm not risking all the chaos with mass transit. So that's where I'm going to end this video. Just remember again, don't go into Manhattan if you don't have to this week. Trust me, I've been to Manhattan when there have been UN General Assembly meetings, and I will tell you right now, it is an awful experience. And one last note. 3rd Avenue. It's the worst street to be on during the General Assembly meetings. The cops are all over the place. I've heard sirens there many times, and trust me, don't take my advice. So, that's going to wrap up this news update. Thank you for watching. Until the next one, please take care.